everyone, I'm Joey. Today we're going to be talking about a couple different types of retirement accounts, specifically 401ks and IRAs. Not all 401ks are created the same, and not all IRAs are created the same. So I'm here to guide you through the ins and outs of each one and what could potentially be best for you in your situation. I'm even going to be going over some good options for those who are self-employed or contractors. Don't forget to like this video. It really helps the channel and it helps other people find this information as well. I've also attached links in the description below if you have any other questions and need to do some extra research on anything. Alright, let's get started. First, let's talk about why it's important to save for retirement. It all comes down to a beautiful thing called compound interest. When it comes to saving for retirement, earlier is better. Regardless of your age, saving for retirement is a good investment. Think of it as investing in your future self. Let me show you an example here comparing two different people who decided to save at different times. This is a story from the Dave Ramsey website explaining the importance of starting to save for retirement early. This is a comparison comparing two guys, Jack and Blake. They both invested $2,400 a year, but the difference is when they started and how long they kept this up. Jack started at 21, investing $2,400 for 9 years. When he turned 30, he stopped investing altogether and didn't invest any more from age 30 to 65. So overall, he only invested for 9 years. Blake, however, didn't start until he was 30. Blake invested $2,400 every single year from the time he was 30 until he was 67. That's 38 years. As you can see from the chart, by the time they were both 67, Jack still had almost double the amount that Blake had. This is caused by compound interest. Here's the concept of compound interest. Let's say I invest $1,000 and I can earn 10% interest every single year. The first year I make $100 because 100 is 10% of 1,000. Now I have $1,100 in my retirement account. Year 2, I also earn 10%. And because my investment grew last year, my new 10% is $110. Now I have $1,210. The third year I make over $120, and the fourth year I make around $140. As you can see, a one-time investment continues getting bigger and bigger due to compound interest. Imagine investing year after year after year until you retire, how big your nest egg can grow. There's two types of interest, positive interest and negative interest. Positive interest is interest that you earn when you keep your money in an investment account, whether in stocks or bonds or mutual funds, index funds. We'll talk about all those in a minute. Negative interest is interest that accumulates against you, such as credit card debt or loans or any other situation where you owe somebody else money and you have to pay interest on top of that. As a side note, I would say stay away from negative interest if you can help it, except for a mortgage loan. You don't need a super expensive car if it gets from A to B. You don't need to be paying monthly installments on a bigger TV. Getting out of debt and staying out of debt should be everybody's #1 priority. If you're in debt but also want to start investing, I highly recommend talking to a money manager or a financial planner. In the same way that you can accumulate a lot of positive interest, you can also accumulate a lot of negative interest against you if you start to get in debt. In this video, we're going to be focusing on the positive interest that can be made through retirement accounts. When it comes to picking a retirement account type, everyone falls into one of three categories: employed by a company that offers employer matching on 401ks, employees who work for companies that do not offer employer matching on 401ks, and also those who are self-employed. I fall into the latter. I'm self-employed and I can make much higher contributions to my retirement account as opposed to someone working for a company. We'll get to that towards the end because the majority of the population are employees for a company. If you're an employee of a company, your company has already set up a 401k plan for you. Now the question is, does your company offer employer matching or not? If so, a common arrangement for employers to make is for them to match up to the first 6% of your paycheck. So that means if you make $100,000, $6,000 will be coming out of your paycheck to go to your retirement account, and you'll also be getting an extra $6,000 from your employer that gets put straight into your retirement account. Someone who has a 401k set up for them already by their employer can also open up a traditional or a Roth IRA in their own name if they decide to do so. We're going to talk about the difference between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA in just a minute. Anyone who's serious about investing for retirement and works for a company that offers employer matching, max out that 401k as quickly as possible and even open up an IRA to start investing there. Someone who is truly gung-ho for saving for retirement might do this. It's a good way to save a chunk of your paycheck from being taxed, but then again, investing in just about any asset is a good way to save your money from being taxed. In 2020, the 401k contribution limit is $19,500. Taking the example of making $100,000, $6,000 coming from your paycheck, $6,000 coming from your employer, there's still $7,500 that you can invest in this 401k before you hit your contribution limit. The 2020 contribution limits for a traditional IRA and also a Roth IRA are $6,000. That means you could potentially put $25,500 towards your retirement this year. If you're in the second group of people that works for a company that does not offer employer matching, NerdWallet.com recommends that these people first open up an IRA for themselves themselves, max that out, and then start contributing to the 401k set up by their company. 401ks can only be set up by business entities. If you're an individual working for a company or self-employed, you can also open up an IRA for yourself. So if your company does not offer employer matching and you want to set up an IRA for yourself, you're going to have to decide whether you want to open up a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA. The main difference of these accounts is when you're taxed. For someone with the traditional IRA, their savings and taxes might look like this. First, that person contributes to their traditional IRA. They don't have to pay taxes on that this year because whenever they take it out after they're retired, they're going to be taxed then. Those who are investing in a Roth IRA put their money in and are taxed immediately on it so that when they take out money for their retirement, they're not being taxed on that. And finally, we come to those who are self-employed and independent contractors. Firstly, if you're an independent contractor and you don't have a business entity, I highly recommend starting a business because you can save a lot of money in taxes. You can take a look at my other videos on how to start a business and how to save on taxes. For those who are self-employed, we pretty much have two options for saving for retirement. There's a SEP IRA, self-employed personal IRA, and also a solo 401k. If you and your spouse are the only people working for your company and you don't have any employees, you're eligible to open a solo 401k. I can contribute $19,000 as an employee of my company to my solo 401k. Additionally, I can use my company to employer match up to 25% of my income. As you can see, there's much higher contribution limits to having a solo 401k. If you're self-employed and you're serious about saving for retirement, this is a pretty solid option. The SEP IRA is slightly different. For our solo 401k, we could contribute to our retirement account as an employee and an employer. For a SEP IRA, you can only contribute as an employee. The contribution limits for a SEP IRA in 2020 is $57,000 or 25% of your paycheck, whichever one is lesser. So let's compare the SEP IRA and the solo 401k if we were to make $100,000 a year. For a solo 401k, we could contribute $19,000 as an employee and additionally up to 25% of our income as the employer. $25,000 plus almost $20,000 is $44,000. Now let's compare that to the SEP IRA. So the rules dictating a SEP IRA are I can contribute either $57,000 or 25% of my paycheck, whichever is lesser. So my contribution limits are $25,000 for a SEP IRA. Remember that with a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA, you can only contribute up to $6,000 or $7,000 a year depending on your age. Hopefully this has given you a good idea of different options for saving for retirement. Don't forget to like this video if you got anything beneficial from it. It helps our channel and it helps other people find this information as well. I've attached links to retirement calculators in the description below, so check those out to figure out which one's best for you. NerdWallet.com and DaveRamsey.com are great resources for planning personal finance. Thanks for watching and subscribe to our channel for some more tips for personal finance. Talk to you soon. Aloha.